But that's why we shut our mouth. That's why we have kept our mouths shut. That's why we haven't said anything, because we've been told by society and by treatment centers and by everybody around us saying that, oh, you don't have a problem, they have a problem, you need to suck it up, or you need to deal with it better, or nothing's wrong with you. Like, how dare you? How dare you say that my experience is not important? I matter too. We matter too.
Welcome back to another episode Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
We're talking betrayal trauma today. If there's any term that sums up what spouses and partners are really feeling, this is it. It's not codependency. It's this. You're not going to want to miss this one. We got a really great discussion, I think, on this one.
Yes, this was a requested episode.
Pretty raw. We were just going through it pre-show, and we were both in tears about this stuff.
This one's a hard one.
It's a tough one. I think it's going to be validating for a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
Before we get there, hey, we've got a course called independentlystrong.com. If you've ever watched Paige, like, hey, how did she do it? How did she get through this? This is how. Created a course starring yours truly, Paige. It's
powerful.
It's amazing. It's 10 modules that walks you through everything from boundaries to there's an addict's perspective. There's, what does healing look like? There's self-care. There's so many. You can check out more by going to independentlystrong.com. And it's not just us. It's not just our experience. We did this along with a licensed therapist. Mm-hmm. It's been vetted. It's research backed. And it's incredible. You also get access to a community within Independently Strong that has calls hosted by Paige.
Yes.
It's been amazing for everyone that's in it. They will tell you firsthand that the experience has been second to none.
Yeah, and you get access to it at all times. So if you go through it and you want to go through it again over and over again, which I highly recommend for a lot of people, because by the end of it, you're going to have a completely different perspective and even be stronger than you were before. And then going through it again is going to be even more powerful for you.
Yeah, and then for any updates and revisions and everything else made to the course, you will get those as well.
Yep.
It's available for a limited time, 50% off, 75% off, going to independentlystrong.com, entering the code Wheelies75 at checkout. That's Wheelies with an S, 75.
Yeah.
Next thing up, we have a free Facebook community. We just talked about one of our paid resources, but we have a free resource, really valuable, called TWFO Community, TWFO Community. It's completely free. It's a Facebook community. Paige and I pop in from time to time, but it's about 3,000 people going through this very thing.
And there are member-led community calls weekly now in the program. I mean, in the community.
Shout out to the amazing wheelies that are heading that up for us.
Yes.
You're amazing. You know who you are. Thank you so freaking much.
Yeah.
It's just invaluable for people to have when they're in it. When they're in crisis, when they're going through something, they just need feedback. The power of community is massive.
Yeah, and it's different than any other calls out there that you're going to see, because you get to actually share your experience about what you're going through. And then we do allow crosstalk because we want people to share their experience and say, hey, I've done that before. Here's what I suggest you do. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we're not going to spend the first 20 minutes of the meeting reading off the rules.
No, I'm not a big person of rule. I am a big person of rules, but when it comes to stuff like this, you have enough control in your life. I want you to learn how to trust your instincts again, and you're smarter than you give yourself credit for. So go into these calls and into the community without these rigid rules, and it's going to be more powerful for you than if there was like super crazy structure.
And if you don't know where to find the community, you can click on the link in any of our social media profiles. It's got a link tree there. You can find a shortcut there, or go to our website, twfo.com.
TWFO.
And while you're there, you can sign up for our free newsletter. You can scroll all the way down the bottom of the page, and there's a little box there. You can enter your email address that we will not sell or abuse or spam or anything like that.
No, you'll get an email from Matt once a week on Wednesdays, and sometimes there will be blog posts that you update.
You might get notified,
you'll get
on,
notified
a blog
on
post.
that as well, but mainly newsletter.
Yes, sometimes I write blogs separate from the newsletter. Sometimes blogs become newsletters.
Depends on your
so
mood.
You might get 2 emails a week, but even then, it'd just be a reminder that something was posted that's helpful for you.
Yeah.
It's not us trying to shake you down for anything. I can assure you that. I promise you.
And I started doing Paige's perspective.
That was the next.
Well.
Go ahead.
You have your own list over there. I didn't write it down. I'm just going with the flow here. If you did not know, I started releasing my own podcast episodes underneath this same Till the Wheels Fall Off on Fridays. It's short, usually under 20 minutes. It's just kind of more of a pep talk for those going through things and helping you step up your self-care.
Yeah, it's more personalized and it's more general life skill type stuff. Like it's tangentially related to what we talk about, but for the most part, it's empowering, positive messages.
Yeah.
It's just really, really helpful.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Last thing. Hey, we've got rocks available. Still got rocks. Where's my rock?
That's under there somewhere, or it was.
Here's my rock.
Okay, that's my rock.
This is a recovery rock.
You have your chips.
This is a spouse's rock. This is a rock that an awesome listener up north gave us the idea for. I think this is in Minnesota. Place I've always wanted to visit and still haven't, by the way.
I know, we were supposed to go this summer and we did not.
We'll get around to it, I think. Maybe not this year, but anyway, awesome Minnesota listener recommended, hey, it'd be really cool if you made this token of appreciation for spouses and partners, because we get a lot of couples that listen, and shout out to all the couples that do listen. Especially if you're someone in recovery, like from me to you, like this isn't always easy stuff to hear, but this is stuff that I wish I would have heard earlier on.
Absolutely.
You could avoid some of the things possibly like we're about to discuss today.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rock, it's got our logo on the front of it. On the back, it says, "Thank you for being my rock." They're not all this color. They're random rock colors. But just
random rock colors.
Yeah.
They're just natural colors.
I asked a guy this time, we'd place another order. Thank you all who've purchased a rock.
Yeah.
We had to buy more. I never dreamed we would have to. I thought that'd be one of those things that sits and collects dust for a very long time, but it just goes to show we have a lot of couples that listen to the show, and it's awesome that someone is getting this delivered to them that says, I recognize your sacrifices. I recognize everything that I've put you through, all of it. And a token of appreciation on the back, it says, "Thank you for being my rock and getting through this." So shout out to all the spouses. We get chips and keychains and things like that. Spouses and partners don't get much of anything. So it's a really cool way to recognize someone's journey as they walk through this on the other side of it, which is
very difficult,
not glamorous, not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can check those out at tufo.com as well. And hats, shirts, I should be picking those up tomorrow.
Really?
Uh-huh. By the time this episode comes out, I should at least have them.
So we'll talk about them more next week?
Photograph them, get them up and everything else, and we'll talk about them next week.
Let's go.
So be on the lookout for that as well. Okay. That's all I had. Paige's perspective, you already nailed that. So betrayal trauma. Let's talk betrayal trauma. How did this come to be? The term itself, how did this episode get recommended? And just be honest about like where you've been with tackling this one.
Well, there were a lot of people actually in the community that asked if we've done an episode on betrayal trauma. And I was kind of like hesitant and thinking, I don't think we did one specifically on this, because basically everything we talk about is based on betrayal trauma.
Yes.
So I guess now I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and dig deeper into it so that people can get a better idea of what spouses actually go through. It's not just the fact that our partner is using drugs and alcohol or doing things that, I don't know, for personal development, they're not doing like the right thing as a partner. It's more than that. It's deeper than that. It truly affects us as a spouse.
We did that episode called "What Are Spouses Recovering From?"
Yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And it hints at a lot of this stuff. Like you're right. We've beat around the bush a lot, but we've never tackled the actual term.
Yeah.
So
it came from, it was introduced by someone named Jennifer Freyd in the early 90s. So it's a fairly new term. Because in therapy,
yeah, I was gonna say what Dr. Taylor tells us. In the therapy world,
if something is like 30 years old, that means that it is pretty new. Oh, mama duck and baby ducks.
There's a I don't know what you would call that, like a train of ducks walking past the window.
They're little
right
baby
now?
Ducklings following the mama, and then the daddy is following the babies. There were 13 ducks, now there's only 3.
I think it's got to have something to do with the fact that it's like over 100 degrees.
It might be, but I think that's just kind of how the natural world works. But
sorry, squirrel.
Anyway, yeah, this is how we roll. All right. So basically what happens is that this is when people or institutions in which a person relies on for protection, resources, and survival violate the trust or well-being of that person. That's the definition that I got.
That's the clinical definition.
That's the clinical definition. So how does that apply here?
Well, it's intuitive. I think a lot of people understand this, that when you've been lied to, that's bad. And everyone's been lied to about something at some point. Something. Some lies don't surprise you so much. Other lies are they will rock your world. Like, they are so massive to you, the way that you see the world. And they completely shift the way that you see the world, what's true, what's not true. And that's sort of what we're getting at here, is betrayal trauma. When we're talking about betrayal trauma, these are lies. This is deceit. This is gaslighting that completely changes your outlook on the world, like how you experience reality. So like if you've been through, let's say like for us, my addiction, I was a closet addict. So I hid my addiction for a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you knew that I did some things.
I did.
The drugs, that was the big thing. So I was an opiate addict, pain pills. And that was the thing that you did not know. I was fully up to.
Know. Yeah.
You didn't know I was literally buying them off the streets every single day.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you didn't know that I was doing a lot of those things. I would share other things, like we were younger and you could get away with drinking heavily and like smoking weed and things like that. But it was the drugs, because there were so many issues sort of related to the drug use, and you were kind of hip to it. Like, I think something's going on, but I lied and I lied and I lied about everything, about where I was, who I was spending time with. I think it's possibly, like, I always said it was like living a double life, like living as a double agent. Like I had two lives. I had the life that I wanted you to see. And that was the life of me being this doting father and wonderful husband and going to work and working my butt off and, you know, spending a lot of time with the office. But the reality was that I was leaving the house early when I said I was going to the office, and I was going to South Dallas to buy pills. And then I would leave the office early, and I would tell them that there was an issue at home, new baby or something like that. And I was actually driving back down to South Dallas to buy more pills. And then I would disappear for 5-6 hours hanging out with people I had no business hanging out with, really, really bad influences. And I had like this complete double life. And no one really knew the truth, because I told the drug people something completely different too. You know, I wasn't telling them I was lying to my wife and being a complete show of a husband. And I wasn't telling you what I was really doing either. So you just assumed that I was doing what husbands are supposed to be doing, what best friends are supposed to be doing. They're being honest with you. Well,
I assumed that, but I also knew deep down that something was not right, because you would be gone for long periods of time. Lots of money was being taken out of the account. You know, a lot of things were happening. So deep down, I was like, no, something isn't right here. But you, again, were really good at lying and telling me that, no, this is okay. This is all right. And then you bring home flowers or something like that to make things right. And
try to butter you up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it so difficult to understand and like get through and be like, oh man, how did I let this happen? It's not that simple. I didn't know that you were lying to me, but I knew something was wrong.
Yeah. And if you know anything about our story, if you've been a listener for a while, you know like how this all came to a head. I kind of had this moment where I couldn't tell another lie. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. It was eating me alive from the inside. And taking advantage of somebody was not something that I took pride in at all. I felt like a complete scumbag, POS every time I did it. And that's ultimately what got me sober. Not trying to pat myself on the back by any means here, but just to tell the story is that's how you found out. Was I told you the truth. So all of a sudden, like, you get this massive dose of truth, and it completely contradicted what you believed life to be for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it can send you spiraling. And a lot of spouses go through this as well. If there's been infidelity, affairs, that's another one. That wasn't part of our story. We haven't been through this one personally, but we've been around it a lot. We've seen this a lot with other wheelies. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's common. It is. There's a lot of infidelity that takes place too. And this can do it. The same thing, the same vein. Yes. Betrayal trauma encompasses this stuff.
Yes.
Sex addictions, all of it. Like addiction, betrayal. Just think betrayal. When you've betrayed someone's trust, there's trauma that results from that. So it's not Freud, it was Freud, you said?
Freud.
Yeah. And so you mentioned, like, in clinical terms, this is really young. Like, Dr. Taylor, we have calls with Dr. Taylor a lot, and he'll say, like, tell him, like, we found about this idea. I've been reading this research, whatever. He's like, that's basically like infancy.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's from the 90s. He's like, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
In the clinical terms, like, has to be around, has to be tested for a very long time before people really consider it valid. So if you're wondering, why have I never heard about this? That's partly why. But there's not to say that there aren't therapists who specialize in this. There are.
Yeah,
Lots
for
of
sure.
them. Lots of them. So what are we going to get at here today?
So we're going to talk about how addiction plays a part in betrayal. But I wanted to, and how it affects the partner too. But this really happens when this is your husband or your wife. This is the most intimate person in your life. All relationships, especially close relationships, are built on trust. Trust is number one. And when that trust is betrayed, it can do so much to a person. So much to a person. Like, you don't understand how much harm it's doing to you, maybe until years later after you get more clarity in the situation. When it's happening, it's different because you're so mixed with emotions and you're still trying to figure out if your partner's lying to you or not. It's not until after the fact when you realize this person comes to you and says, hey, by the way, I was lying. And you're like, holy crap. Like, my life is not what I expected it to be. Like, I thought that it was, like you said earlier, I thought it was something completely different.
Yeah, we're talking about our most intimate relationships here.
Yeah.
Husband, wife, or wife, or husband, however, no judgment whatsoever how you choose to, what you choose to call your partner, whatever it is. Your life partner. That's a great term. Life partner. Your most intimate relationship, right? We all know what that means. There's assumptions that go with that. And it doesn't all just come from Hollywood. Like, I know that we've beat up Hollywood many times on this show where it's like, Hollywood gives people this false idea of what love is. Like, that's not necessarily true. Like, go back to Shakespearean times and like there were ideas about romance and love, but those came from somewhere. Those came from something. Love is as old as time. And love, like you mentioned, is based on trust. Trust is the foundation of an intimate relationship.
Yeah.
It's that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to be honest about the things that come out of my mouth. There has to be trust there. And when it's broken, it's lost in buckets. It's gained in drops. It's lost in buckets.
Your marriage is supposed to be a safe space. You're supposed to feel safe in your marriage. You're supposed to be able to rely on your partner to some extent on certain things. So it just, I don't know, this topic just kind of hits.
Like, you could expect a stranger to lie to you. You wouldn't even probably be that pissed about it. But your most intimate partner lying to you is going to leave wounds. And we were talking about my and your complete ignorance to this early on. When I first got sober, we didn't know that this was even a thing.
No, because we thought, oh, hey, you're going to get sober. Things will be okay. Things will be fine because, oh yeah, I'm going to start telling the truth now. We don't have to deal with the past. That's not a big deal. Why do we need to go down that road? That's done. We're done with that. I'm not doing that anymore. No.
That's sort of the assumption. It's weird. It's like, okay, that was then, and then this is now, and we can move forward. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take accountability. But as it turns out, that's not exactly enough. It's not even quite enough. And I didn't know this. You didn't know this, is that there's trauma. I mean, actual clinical trauma from the fallout of years of lies. So much.
So before we were talking about this episode, and that's why we're probably sounding a little off right now, is that we were listening to another podcast about betrayal trauma. And he had listened to it already, but I was listening to it and I had to stop. I just stopped listening to it because it took me back to a time that was very uncomfortable. And it impacted me in a way that I never, you think that you're healed and you think that you're going through things and stuff, but trauma, it does this sometimes. Things will get brought up and things will remind you of a time when you were traumatized, and it will make you feel like you were back in that time. And it was just wild.
That's
it was just wild.
The definition of PTSD.
Yeah. But you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. I was just listening and I was like, I can't listen to this right now. It was weird.
Yeah. And you said it was really, really validating. We should probably plug that podcast.
Yeah,
too.
we will, because it was good. But I'm a podcaster, but I don't listen to podcasts. Matt is the one who listens to podcasts, and I'm not very big on, I listen to personal development and stuff, but when it comes to like these addiction and stuff like that, I really do touch on my experience. I don't listen too much to, I do listen to professionals. Obviously we work with a professional, but when it comes to this, like I don't know, I steer away from it for some reason. And I think that I just like to talk based on my experience and your experience and I can research and I can read things, but listening to it is totally different.
You're as real as they come. Like, I think that bottom line is like, you're not, it's not that you don't do research. It's not that you don't look into things or you read things.
No.
But like, I've always admired the fact that like, you never want your opinions or emotions or feelings jaded by someone else's words.
That right there.
And so like, you're
exactly.
just like, a lot of times we come in here, like she's going purely off of her own notes and the things that you've made.
Right.
Like you didn't necessarily read a book and just like rehash what you read in the book. Like you're talking about your own experience.
No, but as we were listening to this, I thought I was listening to myself, and that was validating in a way where I was like, holy crap. Like I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
That podcast, by the way, it's an episode of Addiction Unlimited. That's the name of the podcast. And the episode was called Unmasking Deception. And it's insights on betrayal trauma. It was released mid-October last year.
Okay.
October of 23. If anyone wants to go check that out after you check this one out, I think that it can only help you and kind of give you some more knowledge and understanding about what's going on here. But yeah, betrayal trauma is very much encompasses a lot of the stuff we talk about, but really at the bottom of it all, addiction. We've talked about abuse and how abuse can be really harmful to a relationship. We've talked about the fallout of abuse. We've talked about how abusing someone can affect them for years after the abuse has even stopped. But what about just the lie in itself? What about the moment that you find out that your reality has been a lie? What about the moment that you realize that the person that you've been sharing a bed with for all these years isn't who you thought they were? Well, about uncovering an affair that's been going on for a decade, or like us, like a drug habit and all the lies that took place with that over the course of a decade. Like that, at that moment, something changes. Like you can look at your life in two halves suddenly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's what was before and there's everything after that.
Yeah.
It completely just derails you. It blindsides you.
Yeah. And then you realize you have to start learning to trust your gut again and trusting your instincts again, because you knew that there were things happening within that time frame, but being lied to all the time. Like, oh, well, maybe I am crazy. Maybe, my instincts are off. I'm just going to ignore those gut feelings or whatnot. And then when you realize that, oh, wow, my instincts were actually on point, you have to completely shift everything in your mind.
Can we go back down memory lane for a little bit?
Again?
Yep. That
I'll tell you if I don't want to do this.
the day that I told you that I was an addict and I had a serious problem and I wanted to go to treatment. Uh-huh. This is April 12th of 2013.
Okay.
Do you remember how you felt in the moment that I told you?
Shocked and ashamed. I had a lot of shame because I felt like I believed you for so long.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
Yeah.
By shame. It wasn't shame that, oh my God, my husband's a drug addict.
Well, partially. It was two parts.
But the part you're talking about.
Yeah. I was just like, I felt like I felt ashamed. I felt like I let this happen in a way.
So it was like self-shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there were two parts still. I also felt ashamed that I was with somebody who had a problem. I did. I've talked about that in my story.
And the shock and awe of it all. Like,
and the shock of it.
God.
Yeah. Like I can't even, that day I was just so shocked. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's get you help. Let's see what happens. I was kind of naive too, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just like, okay, but also scared. I can't really tell you even the emotions I was feeling because there was so much going on within my brain.
Check into treatment. We go through that process. While I'm in there, I think we're both really hopeful.
Yeah,
in
for
treatment.
Sure.
Really hopeful that we can be okay again. We had a conversation going into treatment that kind of reassured both of us that there was still love there and there could be trust again. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you took it really well. And now I sort of know why.
Why?
Well, I think that you can when you're presented with something like that, and then you're presented with treatment and whatnot, like it's almost like solution for the problem. Like a lot of times in life, like I do this anyway, where it's like every time that I'm a fixer, right? So when there's a problem, once I find the solution, I find peace.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's an issue at work or something wrong with the computer or whatever. Like our kid's sick right now. Like the uncertainty is what kills you more than anything. But I think that once we found the solution, which was treatment or, program of sobriety and all that, then it was like, okay, well, everything's cool. Right. Now we can move on to the next problem. Like I put it to bed that quickly. And I think that you did too. Like we just put it to bed. And so I feel like in hindsight, you took it really, really, really well. But I think in reality, we were both just sort of surviving. Like you were surviving in your own way.
Right.
Like we talk about, that's what the show is about.
Yeah.
I was surviving in a different way. Like addict survival is totally different than spouse survival. But you took it really well. And I was sort of shocked by that. Like it never really came up that like the lying had caused a lot of issues with you. Like it never came up that you couldn't trust yourself anymore. Like none of this stuff ever came up.
No, because it was about you.
And the treatment center never addressed the stuff either.
No, but it's not their job to, because you're there. It's your problem. They addressed some of my issues based on codependency or whatever.
They just called you codependent.
Which was
they
just
slapped you with the label.
I was like, oh, okay. This is all about your triggers. And it was all about you, which is what, rehabs are there for, is for the addict. That's why we are here. And TUFO is to try to switch some things around in the recovery world. Let you know, like, we have problems that we need to deal with as well. The trauma. Yeah,
I think for a long time, the treatment community has been aware that spouses have their own set of issues, but I think they've been misdiagnosed for a really, really long time. Like if I was going to say every treatment center in the country should do one thing, it's you need to have a betrayal trauma expert on hand.
Absolutely.
For spouses and partners.
Yeah.
But I know why they don't.
Or our program.
Or Independently Strong.
Yeah.
I know why they don't, though, is because it's not exactly the easiest thing for someone in early recovery to hear or understand.
No, it's not.
And treatment centers are there to get people sober. They're not necessarily there to save the life of the spouse. Or I think they're more concerned with, if we just get this person sober, then we've done our job.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, I was going to say something and I just got sidetracked.
It'll come back to you.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now that we kind of understand what this betrayal trauma is.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to talk about a few of the things that might cause betrayal trauma. So we'd already talked about deception and lies and how that's very common with addicts and how that's going to harm your partner. Lies and all that stuff, it's going to harm them. And also when they say that their addiction only affects them is completely BS. And that really just makes me upset, because you're lying because of your addiction is causing problems with those who love you. Broken promises. We talked about this earlier about how somebody who might say, I promise I'm going to quit, or I promise I'm going to change, or I promise I'm going to be better. I promise to be a better man, but they don't follow through. And this is a pattern. These are broken promises, and they can be very hurtful to the partner and spouse, because there's no trust. How can I trust you if you're going to tell me you're going to do these things, but then you don't do them?
Can I go on a tangent about trust real quick? 'Cause why it's so important. If you think about every relationship that you have with everything in the world, there's some level of trust built in.
Yeah.
Everything. When blinkers, or if you're...
or you order your food at a restaurant and you ask them to put no peanuts in there because you're allergic to them.
Yeah, or
you trust them.
Or the fact that you just know that they're prepping their food with in a safe manner that's going to not get you sick. Yeah. Or they're just going to deliver on the promise they make to give you the meal that you enjoy. Or like we're talking about blinkers or indicators if you're British. They call them indicators. I love that.
I like that.
Like when someone turns their blinker on, there's trust there with other drivers on the road that a blinker means something. It means that you're going to go one direction or another.
Yeah.
Not everyone uses them, but think about a balcony. You trust that inherently that this balcony is not going to let you fall 12 stories to your death. Trust is
everywhere,
crucial to your experience in the world.
Survival.
It is.
It is, literally.
Trust is so important. I think it's got an evolutionary basis. It's also got a biological basis, what causes trust. I was reading all about this the other day. Not important here. But anyway, it's so crucially important. And so when it's gone, when it's been violated, things will never be the same again. Never. And we understand this when it comes to a lot of things, but with relationships and especially with addiction, addiction gets a fucking pass.
Yeah, they get a pass.
Because of disease.
Yeah, or like they didn't know, or because the addiction consumes you so much. And it's like, okay.
If you got into a car accident as a kid, a really bad one, let's say someone was hurt or killed.
Okay.
You would be very hesitant to get in cars again. And if you did, you would have some kind of a trauma response to it. People understand that. But when it comes to lies and everything else, especially when it came to addiction, it's like, they're better now, move on. They're better now. They're not drinking anymore. Like, it's fine. Like, what are you all upset about? What are you wrapped around the axle about? Like, everything's good. That's the way I think that we kind of tell spouses and partners to behave when it comes to addiction.
Absolutely.
And I think that to maybe a little lesser degree, this happens with infidelity as well, but more so with addiction, I think. I think that there are even institutions devoted to kind of keeping people in that space. It's almost like everyone's pulling the wool over your eyes that like, oh, it's all good. Just move on. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah.
Without going
They're
back.
Working on it. They're working on it.
Yeah. Without going back and rediscovering like what you've been through. It's massive. And we recognize it in everything else in the world. But when it comes to addiction, we sort of just give it this big pass. And like you kind of hinted on this today in a TikTok. And it's funny, TikTok commenters sometimes say things they regret and then they go back and delete their comments. So someone deleted this comment, but the comment was something to the effect of like, oh, way to make it all about you. Don't you know that they're dealing with the disease? As you're talking about just simply giving
you're part of the problem.
But you were just giving yourself, I
was talking about
opinion.
My experience and how I felt on something and my feelings
but there we go.
But that's why we shut our mouth. That's why we have kept our mouths shut. That's why we haven't said anything, because we've been told by society and by treatment centers and by everybody around us saying that, oh, you don't have a problem. They have a problem. You need to suck it up, or you need to deal with it better, or nothing's wrong with you. Like, how dare you? How dare you say that my experience is not important? I matter too. We matter too.
Or your pain, or the legitimate pain that you've suffered.
The little trauma. Like, F you.
Yeah.
See, now you're making me go off on a tangent.
Good. No, it gets under my skin. But when we talk back to the point of on promises, like why are promises important? It's because you trust people. And trust is crucial to the human experience. It is crucial to everything that you do. Like, it means everything.
Yeah.
It means everything.
Yep.
Generally, people don't deal with things that they can't trust. We don't. It's almost programmed in us. Like, we don't mess with things we don't trust. Talk to anyone that's eaten something and they got sick off of it. They don't mess with it again. Like, doesn't everyone have that liquor?
For a while.
Well, most people, but doesn't everyone have that liquor?
You did. Jaeger.
Don't you have a liquor?
I never drank Jaeger in my life.
But don't you have one
it.
that there's like, I won't touch it because I got so sick that one time?
No. I can't think of
I guess
anything.
you're not a lush like me.
I just remember you got
had a few.
really sick on that.
Oh, I had a few.
But like food wise, we'll eat. I can't really eat Philly cheesesteaks much anymore because I had a pizza that made me sick back in.
Because you don't trust it.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. You
Yeah.
don't trust it.
Right.
You don't trust it. But trust gets thrown around and bastardized so much when it comes to addiction. Like, you're not supposed to have it, or if you try to challenge it, then you're just being cold, or you're just a bitch, or you're any number of things. But betrayal trauma sums up the experience of actual trauma that people go through when their reality has been shattered, completely shattered. And it is not something that you get over in a few weeks or a few months.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even a few years.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can take longer than that, because trust is lost in buckets. It is built in drops.
It takes a long time.
Forever.
It takes a long time. And it's in layers too. Like, you can trust somebody in some parts and then not trust them in other parts. And that's kind of natural as well. But eventually, I mean, like I said, it just takes a long time. But if you have a partner who is also emotionally unavailable, like if they are totally consumed by their addiction or alcoholism, or, they're just not available to you, that can make you feel so unimportant and neglected. And that right there can cause betrayal trauma. And it sounds like it's not, some people might think of that like, oh my gosh, you're making such a big deal out of that. But this is your freaking partner. Again, this is your life partner who you want to have a connection with, an intimacy with, and rely on them for some things. And if they are not available emotionally because they are, using drugs and alcohol, this is going to cause harm to you.
Yeah. You think back to what you said about this is your partner. Like this is someone that you agreed to do life with. Like you are teammates, you are partners, you are ride or die. When someone just checks out, like that's not going to have some kind of an effect.
Right. And you checked out a lot during your late.
I stayed checked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we would have intimate talks occasionally. I don't know how real they were based on how effed up you were,
Probably
but we
not
also
very.
had a baby. So it was difficult to even have those moments. But I do remember that was one thing that really stuck out to me, is that you were not emotionally available to me. And that was a red flag, because I'm like, okay, this is not what I wanted in a marriage. This is not what my marriage is supposed to look like. But I almost normalized it because you normalized it in a way. And that's part of these dynamics and how it works. Mm-hmm. Okay, another one's going to be the financial problems, which we've talked about a million times, but it can cause so much stress and feelings of betrayal because you have shared financial goals if you're married, right? You want to have a house, you want to have the cars, you want to save for your kids' college, you want to retire, you want to have your kids' activities, you have all these things. So if they're spending all their money on drugs and alcohol, that is impacting you, that is affecting you, that is affecting your future and your children's future. Like this can cause betrayal trauma.
Yeah, and like gambling addiction, like some of the behavioral addictions
yes,
fit
absolutely.
in here. Porn addiction, sex addiction. People could spend fortunes on sex workers or websites or OnlyFans or any of that shit too.
Yeah. Yeah. The financial abuse, I guess you could say, was probably that, that was like the last thing that was going on within our relationship that I was like, this has got to fucking stop.
Yeah.
Infidelity. We talked about that already. The neglect of responsibilities, that happens a lot. Like if they're neglecting your children or even household duties, or it leaves us feeling overwhelmed, unsupported, not equal, like we're taking on all the loads, we're doing all this. This can cause betrayal trauma. Again, it sounds so small, right? It sounds so small in a way. Like if you were to just say, okay, my partner doesn't do their laundry. Somebody might think of that like, oh, that's not a big deal. You're their partner. Why don't you just freaking do their laundry? So much deeper than that. So much deeper than that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these things, like on the surface, you can make them sound very benign. Like, okay, yeah, everyone's been lied to about something. Everyone's been told like, or had to do laundry or pick up slack. Or it's not exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about repeated patterns of this stuff over a long period of time, or a massive incident that leads to the breakdown of a reality, a shattered dream and vision of reality that causes issues.
Yeah. And then like I think about our life right now and how you were always standing up to say, I will take this kid to this activity. I will take this kid to that activity. I will do whatever I need to do to be a part of my kid's life and to help you, and pull my weight in the house or whatever, pull my weight around the marriage and the parenting and the responsibilities and stuff. Like you wouldn't have done that if you were still in active addiction.
No way.
Shit,
man.
I don't even know if you would have done that in early sobriety.
No, we were talking about this earlier too. Like I think to some degree, all people are self-absorbed. Everyone, like we're selfish, sort of. I think.
Well, we all think about ourselves.
We think about ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like we do. Like we think about what's going to happen to us. Yeah, like it's survival.
Survival,
like,
exactly.
You want to get down to the root of it.
That's not selfish though. That's just being.
No, but with addicts, this stuff is extreme.
Oh, wait.
We are extremely selfish. Yep. Extremely selfish. Like we don't really care about anything other than ourselves. I need to feel however I need to feel. And once I get right, then we can talk about what you need. But I need what I need. I need to get XYZ, whatever it is. I need to take care of my needs first before all.
Yeah.
And you train yourself to do it. And then, addiction takes over and it's like the substance kind of moves you to do it. But yeah, we're shitheads. We're like the worst partners of all time. The worst. And this breaks my heart. We see this a lot where someone will say, like, a lot of people who are new to the community who just haven't been listening or haven't been familiarized with a lot of the concepts we discuss is, it's like, I have the greatest partner in the world. They're amazing. They just drink. And like the drinking bothers me. You really start to dig into it. A lot of this stuff is going on. This neglect of responsibilities, just like this lack of a shared partnership.
It's the behaviors.
It's the behaviors. Yeah. That's
right.
I don't think I've ever met an alcoholic, like a real deal, a real McCoy alcoholic that didn't have some of these other things going on. I've heard a lot of them claim they don't, but you get to know them pretty well. And like, you find out they're fucking lying. Like that's not true. But I've heard a lot of people say like, no, I didn't have any of those things. I didn't do any of those things. Bullshit. You did to some degree. Yes, you did. Yeah. Like you're telling me you're a perfect angel. You just drink at night. No, nope. Don't believe it. Until I see it, I won't believe it.
You're at least going to be emotionally unavailable. Like I know that some people who get messed up, they might have like that. They'll have those highs where they're like even more chatty, or there's some people who are like, oh, I like my partner more when they're drinking or using because they're more chatty or high or whatever. But when they're coming down or something, it's inconsistent. It's not consistent enough to really make an impact on you in a positive way.
I think what's really going on is when someone says something like that, what they've really done is reveal the bar for which they consider a good partner. It's like you hear sometimes like this took place a lot in like older generations and probably still to some degree today. It's like a man would convince his kids that he was an incredible husband because he never put a hand on his wife. That's the bar for you, is that you never hit her. So I think a lot of people run around thinking that they're amazing. It's like, I'm great. I don't do any of those things. Like, no, I just drink. No, you're just revealing that that's the bar for you. The bar is very, very low. Very, very, very low.
Yeah. It's so much deeper than all that. So this last one, I wanted to talk about exposure to danger because we haven't really talked about this too much. Like exposure, if the addict in your life is putting you in physical or legal danger, like driving under the influence, like maybe with your children or with you, or engaging in illegal activities,
selling drugs out of the house,
drugs,
or driving with them a lot,
driving with them.
Like if you're driving with drugs in the car and you've got kids in the car,
you did that.
Yeah,
maybe.
No, for sure I did.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, not massive quantities, like I wasn't selling them. This is stupid. I don't know why I'm going to tell the story, but I used to have this rule. I used to keep a bottle of water in my door, like cubby, all the time.
I knew this rule.
And I never drove with more than I couldn't swallow in one dose.
Like I knew this rule now after the fact.
Yeah, ridiculous. But you also talk about exposure to danger. I guess it's kind of a funny story. We took our kids to camp, which is like a 3.5 hour drive. And on the way down there, we passed through South Dallas. Like I mentioned earlier, like, I almost knocked the microphone over. That was our neighborhood. That was the neighborhood that I used to buy drugs in. And
hold on. It's really odd that you're bringing up this story.
Why?
Because I thought about this story when you were talking about something about 30 minutes ago.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
wild. Anyway,
full circle, coming back full circle. So driving down into South Dallas, and like, it's a really rough part of town, really rough. Like it's very impoverished. It's bad.
Not funny story, by the way.
And we're cruising through there. We got the kids with us, and we're kind of talking about this area. And I was showing you all these landmarks, and like, how do you know so much? I was like, I used to come down here every single day. You were like, oh, this is the place? And the kids are with us.
That is not how that went down.
You were like, I said Illinois. Okay, I'm just kind of giving it up. Illinois Avenue was a street I used to exit off of.
Yeah, and you go, hey, you want to go see where I spent a lot of time?
Yeah. Well, because you were asking me, I was like, then I suggested
there was no
you guys want to go. You guys
markers that you're talking about.
Landmarks, like this Shell station is where I used to go.
Okay, yeah, you were talking about like somebody got killed there at one point.
They did. Someone got killed there.
That's awful.
But anyway, I drove through this old neighborhood trying to find the old house that I used to get, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't. Thankfully, it's been so long I couldn't remember it. But driving to that neighborhood, you were like, "Get me out of here."
Oh, I was not.
I don't feel safe about any of this stuff. So we turned around and got out of there. But something else that I used to do to you all the time was drive you into neighborhoods that we had no business being in.
Yeah.
Like when we were young.
Yeah. And then you would think that'd be a red flag for me.
Yeah.
But again, just like, okay.
No, but you can expose someone to danger. I'm not trying to be cute with that story, but it's sort of the point that you can put yourself into danger in a multitude of ways, whether it's legal or actual, like the danger of violence, like that it's possible. Or, you start to get like child protective services involved whenever you start to put your kids around situations where there's drugs, alcohol, guns, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Untenable situations.
Yeah. Okay. So, I did want to talk about like maybe some of the signs that you might have like within yourself to know if you have betrayal trauma. Do you have anything you wanted to add before I go on to that?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times we can look at things like addiction or affairs or any of these things, and we can kind of look at those as isolated incidents and say, like, this thing happened and we need to focus on this thing and move on from this thing without completely understanding everything that made that possible for that event to occur was thousands and thousands and thousands of lies.
Yeah.
Thousands of lies. Mm-hmm. And each time you're told a lie and you believe me, if you believe me because I'm your husband, because we love each other, quote unquote, back then, whether that love, was it not? I don't know. But that you trust me, and each time I tell you something, you choose to take it and believe it. And you sort of construct reality with what you see, and you take things on faith. And so you can build a reality based on lies without realizing it. So whenever an event like this happens, whether it's addiction, like the next relapse, or the last relapse, the one that you just did not see coming, blindsided you, or an affair, or whatever it is, it's not just that event. And I think we're remiss to think that if we just focus on getting through that event and solving that event, that we're going to be okay. It's so much deeper than that.
It is.
It's the thousands of lies that made that possible, and something that neither of us realized. Like, we were both in tears before this episode. You, because you felt validated by listening to that show, and also the fact that, I don't know, you probably had a lot of other emotions. I don't want to speak for you, but for me, in tears because of how horrible I felt. Just how horrible I felt. And I think I said, I'm sorry. Like, it's not an excuse, but I didn't realize how dangerous lying can be to somebody's psyche and what that can do to someone. Like, each lie I told, I didn't realize it. I was like, every lie is like a week in therapy or something. I don't know what the equivalent is there, but years and years and years of therapy and you working on yourself and till the wheels fall off, sprung from this very thing. This was all because I told lies.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Like,
the lies were the biggest thing for
it's the
me.
lies, man.
Those impacted
that betrayal.
me more than anything else that you did. It wasn't the drugs. It wasn't the drinking. It wasn't, a lot of the things that you did, whatever. It was the lies.
It's the lies. It's the deceit. It's the gaslighting. It's hiding. It's all those things that completely just nuked your reality about what you believe to be true in the world. And the way, more importantly, we'll get to this later, is your ability to trust what you see in the world. Yeah. Your ability to trust yourself and your instincts and your intuition about the world. Yeah. I mean, completely blows that up. Yeah. So that's what we're getting at. It's not just that event. It's not just that event. It's not just that. It's
not the substances. No. It's not that. It's the everything that leads up to it.
Yeah. It's like, I assumed you would just never do something like that to me. God forbid, I just assumed that you would never do that to me, that you would never lie to me like that. You would never cheat on me. You would never do any of these things. Explore that feeling in that statement. And that's what we're talking about here. And this is what you've been through. If you're listening to this to some degree, you have been through this. You've been through this. If you're with, I don't know any honest addicts from day one. It's like, hey, I'm a drug addict and I'm going to tell you everywhere I go, because there's no way you wouldn't spend a week in a relationship with us. I promise you. If I was honest about what I was doing all the time, there's no way. You're like, this guy's a freaking monster. He's crazy. There's no way.
He's just a child is how I would think.
So it requires lies. It requires lies to keep that machine going. That's the only way.
But that's why we stay so stuck in it too.
Yes. Like, that's in some ways you're coaxed into it. It's like a trap.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, it's easy. So it's easier for people on the outside to say, just like, well, how did you put up with that? How did you deal with that? We'll talk about shame in another episode and things that we'll go dig deeper into this type of topic later. But it's not that simple, because when somebody you're married to is lying to you, you don't think they're lying to you. And if they are, they're really good at spinning it back around and making it, like, okay, this is just normal. This is just our relationship. This is just who it is. And I love you so much, and making it better. The love bombs, the highs, the lows, all of it, the whole dynamics of those situations.
Let's dig into some of these emotional signs.
Okay. So if you're feeling intense anger or rage, I had this years after you got sober. Like, this was one of the things that I had to deal with in therapy, was when I had a lot of anger or rage, and sometimes it happens towards unrelated situations too. This isn't just towards your partner. This could be towards your children. This could be something normal in your life that's making you it's almost irrational anger.
Just an anger living inside you.
Just anger.
You were mad at me a lot too, though.
I was just angry. I was mad at you. I was. But I was just angry. I was angry at everything. When I'm overstimulated, I know this about me. It's something that I'm very self-aware of, is that when my nervous system is over, stimulated or whatnot, I get angry very easily. Very easily. You know this. You can tell. Even the kids know this, and it's awful. It's terrible. It's a major flaw of mine that I know I've had to work through multiple times, but
I don't think I think that's pretty common for a lot of folks.
I think it is too.
And so if you're a dumb husband like me listening to this, and you want to know a trick here, when you see someone going through that, be helpful. Look for ways to be helpful.
And
fucking life hack for you right there.
Don't ask, what can I do for
you?
No. Go fucking do something.
Do something helpful without asking them to make another decision.
Make dinner or something, or pick up dinner, do the dishes, or just be there for them. Do something without asking.
But what I know is that when I give you time to regulate, obviously there's something causing this. It's unrelated, usually to me. You're not these days anyway.
No, what do you mean usually to you?
If you're really, really upset, you're flipping out on the kids, or you're flipping out on just inanimate objects, slamming a remote.
Or I haven't done that in a while. I threw my phone recently, though. I talked about that in the last episode.
I just know that that's a sign that it's tip of the iceberg. She needs a break.
Yeah.
This goes both ways.
Right. And it's something that I'm learning to manage better. We all have our moments. But anyway, if you are having intense anger or rage, this could be a sign that you have betrayal trauma. Sadness or depression, we've talked about that multiple times. Anxiety, fear and paranoia, and emotional numbness. So if you have a sense of detachment or numbness, or unable to feel emotions fully, this happens a lot. This can happen even when you're overstimulated.
Yeah, anxiety is a big one too. Talk about when you were talking about when you wrote down before we had this episode, we first started recording, we were talking about that summer that I don't know how long we'd been out of it at that point. 3 or 4 years, maybe.
It was 2017 when I had my breakdown. 2017.
It's 3-4 years out of it.
4 years.
And had really not discussed any of the stuff, y'all. Really not discussed it. I took accountability and things like that, but we had not sat down and had a real conversation about, do you really think about how much I've lied to you? We never had that conversation.
No, we didn't know.
So you're living with this massive anxiety all the time, all the time.
And depression.
Didn't realize really what was going on.
No.
This was when our story really started, I think.
Yeah.
Is when we start to uncover this kind of stuff.
Right.
But that, I think 100% that's what was going on.
Right.
100% that's what was going on.
Yeah, but as we were listening to that episode earlier that made me break down, it was just they were talking about how a partner will, or how people will dismiss the partner's experience, dismiss their emotions and what they're going through. And society does that too. And it just really it hit me, because you kind of did that too within me. You didn't know any better. You just wanted me to get better. But it was hurtful, because I'm I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know why I'm having these panic attacks. I don't know where this anxiety and depression is coming from.
And this anger and all this other stuff.
I don't know. I just know it's there, and I need to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And I think it was the betrayal trauma that had a lot to do with it, because we never addressed it. No. And fear and paranoia is one that we see a lot, in the community. I mean, people just this intense paranoia around what the spouse is going to do next, what they won't do next, or just so afraid that
they're going to do it again. They're going to put me through it again.
That is not codependency. That is the natural response for your brain. Your
trauma
brain, that
response.
is a trauma response. That is normal for you to go through that.
For all of these things, we'll get into some of the psychological stuff in a bit, but you are desperately seeking safety again.
Yes.
You're trying to find safety again.
Yeah.
Like, I need to feel safe. I need some kind of fucking reassurance in my life. I need something I can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
So you seek in trying to watch, if I just watch them closer, if I can just, limit their drinking, if I can just create an environment where they won't use. And people call that codependency. They call it controlling. Like, no. This is a trauma response.
Yes, it is.
That's what this is.
It is.
Which is why I think
your brain is trying to protect you from harm.
Yeah.
They're trying to protect you from your spouse. They're trying to protect you from the lies. They're trying to protect you from any type of abuse that has happened in your relationship, even if you don't know that it's abuse. And sometimes you're like, why am I doing this? This is why you're doing this.
Yeah, this is what it's about.
It is a normal response, though.
And it's okay.
It is.
It's okay.
I will tell you, though, you can heal from it. That's what we're here for.
You can.
You can heal from it. You can get through it, and you can.
I've seen it.
Yes.
I saw it happen.
Yes. I talked about how I'm not perfect, obviously, and I get overstimulated still sometimes, and I do have my moments, but I am still so much better than I was back then.
Night and day.
When all this stuff was going on.
Night and day.
Next I wanted to talk about the psychological signs. So if you have hypervigilance.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're constantly on guard, or you're monitoring their behavior, or looking for signs of deceit, which is kind of what you talked about just a minute ago about the fear and paranoia.
Yeah.
This is just that hypervigilance that you get. I've talked to people who are like, this is not me. This is not who I am. I am not the type of person to be monitoring their behavior. It's like, I know that's not you, but you're doing it as a trauma response.
Yeah, your body and your mind are trying to create safety in some way again. And you will do that in a million ways, and uncharacteristic ways too. As you start to reach out and think about, okay, how can I prevent myself from getting hurt like that again?
Yeah.
How can I stop that from occurring? And hypervigilance is the way people do it. A lot of people call it, let's say it's like, neuroticism or paranoia or some form of that. But that's what it is. It's hypervigilance. It's you're so on guard.
Yes.
So on guard. And your environment has to be under control because you need certainty. You need some kind of certainty. You need to be prepared. It's what you feel like.
Yeah.
I need to be prepared because you cannot deal with this again. You can't go through that again.
Right. And I didn't do much of that with you based on relapsing or substances or stuff like that. I probably did think about your behavior a lot, but I just told myself that I didn't want to be married to somebody that I had to do that with. But I also understand that it's a trauma response for a lot of people.
Absolutely. As you're looking for bottles and everything else, you're seeking
absolutely.
safety through either finding the substance isn't there so you can breathe, or you're seeking validation and safety when you find out that it is there and you're not crazy.
Yes, you are trying to prove that your gut instinct was right, but I'm going to tell you guys this now, that you don't have to do all that stuff to prove your gut instinct. You don't have to have proof for it, and you'll get there eventually. That's a totally different episode too. I think I did a TikTok.
Yeah, that's like a level 10.
But that's further on down the line, but this is early on. So I'll skip that one for now. Intrusive thoughts. So recurrent unwanted thoughts about the betrayal that will make you feel distressed. I can't really think of.
With addiction.
Yeah.
With addiction, if you've been through something really traumatic, like if you found out that your spouse is using because they overdosed, that's how this all came to be, or you thought everything was okay and then they overdosed, that would be not just a traumatic event from this from the standpoint that you watched someone go through a major health event, but also that's the moment at which your reality was completely changed. And you would find yourself going back through and almost having morbid reflection on that.
Yeah.
This is very common with affairs. Doing a lot of my research, this is very common with affairs where you have, who wants to think about their partner sleeping with someone else?
Right.
But you have these intrusive thoughts where they're unwanted, but you have them, and then those cause their own form of stress as well.
Yeah.
And it's just recurrent. You can't help it. A lot of times you've dealt with any kind of trauma in your life, you will go through this.
For sure.
A very, very benign and off-topic version of this. I broke a lot of bones as a kid. I remember every time I broke a bone, I would wake up that strange phase of sleep right before you fall asleep where you're kind of awake, but you're kind of dreaming, I would think about the injury over and over and over, like the moment it happened and the fear I felt, and like not really wanting to, but it just couldn't really help it.
Yeah.
It's like just this intrusive thought. It would wake me up out of that sleep, and it caused a lot of anxiety. And like, it happens with a lot of forms of trauma, but
yeah, for sure.
Psychological as well. Like a lot of people have been through this in some way. So if you can't relate it to exactly what we're discussing, think back to your story, think back to some things you're going through. You've probably done this at some point. Like,
yeah.
who wants to think about being betrayed?
Right.
Why do you think about it?
Right.
You know, your mind's trying to find safety.
Yeah. Yeah. So this next one is flashbacks, which is kind of similar to that, but it's reliving the moments of the betrayal in vivid detail as if they're happening again.
Mm-hmm.
I do have an instance where I will have flashbacks based on how I'm feeling, and it will take me back to a time where I felt very betrayed. And that's just, I think it takes time to go through those to realize that you're safe again. If you're out of it.
Was this drug related?
This was when you were in active addiction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I talk about it a lot. It's an instance that I discuss in our program.
Gotcha.
Trust issues. So obviously we've talked about that. Even in unrelated situations, you're going to have trust issues with other people.
Yeah. It's not just your partner, not just your partner.
No, because you're questioning your instincts. You're questioning everything, and you're going to start questioning everybody. Like, it's like we've said, this is your most intimate relationship. So why would no one else be doing that? You know,
exactly.
like you can't, you have to be thinking of that.
Well, yeah. Like let's follow the thought for a second. Okay. So the most trusted person in my life just lied to me. Is anything real? Is anything right in this world? And, you know, like we kind of poke fun at like conspiracy theorists and things like that. But I mean, I think that a lot of times that starts with discovering something that they've believed to be true and trusted, and then they find out it wasn't. So then they just sort of assume that I have to question everything and everyone.
Yeah.
And even people who are trustworthy, you start to question them, and you kind of wrongly at times place this lens of distrust onto them. And you're not crazy.
No.
You're not crazy. You've been through a hell of a lot to get you to that point.
Right.
Just want people to know that is a symptom of it.
Right. These are some behavioral signs. So avoiding people, places, or activities that trigger the memories of the betrayal.
What about self-blame?
Oh, yeah. That was
this is the one that you said could be an episode in itself.
Yeah, for sure. So feelings of guilt or self-blame. So thinking that you may have done something to cause the betrayal. And that's so many of us have gone through that. So many of us have gone through that. I can't tell you how many times people in the community ask the question, am I the narcissist? Am I the one causing the problems? If you're asking those questions, you are probably not the narcissist or the ones causing these betrayal issues.
Yeah, there's a 99%
But your
chance
partner who is not fully there, or if they're in active addiction, or even if they haven't even if they're dry drunk, whatever, they might be putting all that on you. They might blame you for things. And then you're going to start questioning yourself, because that's what you do, because you have conscience. You're trying to become more self-aware.
Yeah.
So, okay. The behavioral science. So avoidance, like I said, was avoiding things that might trigger the memories of betrayal.
You might avoid certain people, certain events, certain rooms in your house. It could be anything.
Yeah. Like you might avoid your garage occasionally because that's where your partner would get drunk and start cussing at you, you know?
Yeah. Even like certain things that give a vibe. Like you might avoid like certain channels on TV. You could avoid certain parts of town, certain stores, whatever it might be, anything that reminds you of, like, let's say you were in a Starbucks when this happened. Starbucks becomes part of this too.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. Like you're going to start to avoid a bunch of different things, people, places, things, activities. And it can be really damaging if you think about some of the things you even love.
Yeah.
Some of the things you love the most could even turn into some of your worst memories.
Right. All right, another one, isolation, which we've talked about, just withdrawing from social interactions and support networks. Now, this is different than the cocoon stage, because if you go back and listen to our last episode about the cocoon phase, you do have a little bit of isolation that is necessary for healing. But if it's due to betrayal, it's going to feel different, and it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Checking behaviors again, excessively checking their phone, their emails, or their whereabouts.
This is when you start to feel like you're the one who's gone crazy. And for people, a lot of people will call you crazy here. You are not crazy. You are desperately seeking safety, and there's a huge effing difference.
Yep. Substance use. Some spouses will increase their use of drugs and alcohol to cope with the pain that's going on.
Yeah.
Sleep disturbances. So if you have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, nightmares or insomnia. I had a little bit of that when I was going through my issues. When things were coming out, I couldn't go to sleep very easily, which is shocking for you, huh?
Yeah.
If you think of me now.
Yeah, you fall asleep like we're sitting right here.
Yeah, no, my brain was going crazy at that point. I couldn't regulate my emotions to like really pause and go to sleep and stuff. I had to change my habits. Your change in eating habits, overeating, or loss of appetite.
I wish at some point, I wish I could one time get loss of appetite.
You don't say that because some people might listen and say, "Are you crazy? It's not a great feeling."
Well, I'll tell you from the opposite side. Every time I've ever gone through something really difficult in life, I just eat and I end up gaining 50 pounds. If you want to know if I'm going through some shit, just look at me. If I'm 50 pounds overweight, I'm going through it right now.
Yeah.
No,
a lot of us cope with food.
You're right, because arguably it's even worse if you're not eating enough.
I agree with that too. I mean, I wish that I did the same thing. Now, if I'm really stressed and something's happening, I don't want to eat, but I don't lose weight from it. I'm going to end up picking up food the next day.
I'll make up for it.
I will. Yeah. If y'all have seen my pictures from when Matt was in active addiction, I was not in the best shape. I was very, very sick, actually. Cognitive signs. So if you have difficulty concentrating, trouble focusing on tasks or making decisions, and then confusion, having that mental fogness and feeling disoriented, like this, I think this all goes along with your nervous system as well.
Yeah, it's dysregulated.
Yeah.
There's actual signs behind this.
Right. And then your negative self-perception of your lower self-esteem and self-worth, feeling inadequate or unlovable. And we've talked about this so much. Man. This will do so much to your self-esteem. And some may say that you came into the relationship with low self-esteem, which could be a possibility, but obviously the spouse did not do, or the addicted spouse did not do a very good job at helping with that, because lying will make you feel so low. Your self-worth will feel, you won't know who you are anymore. It messes with your identity.
Yeah, with trust being so fundamental, it's like, well, if they've betrayed my trust, then like I must be absolutely worthless. Yeah. I must just be, chopped liver over here. Yeah. It really mess with you.
All right. There's just physical signs, just the chronic stress and symptoms of headache, stomach.
Oh, you'll have actual physical manifestations of this.
Stomach issues.
Oh,
I had that.
You had the earworm
I had the
thing.
ear thing. I had the chest pain. Remember I went in for that thing. I forgot what it was called. Muscle tension and just stress-related physical symptoms, and then fatigue, being really tired, even after adequate rest. It's because you kind of probably do need to go through that cocoon phase at this point to really regulate your nervous system again.
Yeah, and before we get into... No, go ahead. What do we do about it?
What do we do about...
Yeah, what can you do for this?
Okay, well...
let's say that we've just told you what it is. Now what?
It's like, oh, hell, I think I've got some betrayal trauma that I need to deal with. Obviously, if you're listening to this, that's a big deal. Our program will help with some of the betrayal trauma that you're going through, because it helps you trust your instincts again and helps you feel like you can make decisions within your life. Therapy, setting boundaries.
The right therapist.
Yes.
Find a therapist that knows what betrayal trauma is. Yeah. They're trained in it. Someone who's trained in narcissistic abuse. Mm-hmm. It's very important that you do that. If you just try to go see your average everyday counselor, they may not completely understand these types of concepts. It's not a knock on counselors, but I've heard more horror stories than I can count about people who showed up with this sort of thing, and they were called clingy, or they had an attachment issue, or they were codependent. Like, this is a person who's dealing with trauma. Yeah. This is trauma. This is not someone who is trying to enable someone's use. Like, this is someone who's been through a lot. So find the right therapist. That episode that we referenced earlier, Addiction Unlimited, the episode was Unmasking Deception. It's a therapist on here. Yeah. Who gives some really good suggestions about what to look for in a therapist. So I recommend people check that out as well. Yeah, that's awesome. Just another resource for you.
Yeah. And our community is huge because you're going to look at all different stories that are similar to yours.
It's going to validate you.
It's going to validate you. And also, you can get some solid advice in there. The wheelies in there have some great experience and some things that they've gone through, and they are sharing their wisdom with others. And that's powerful. Group, community, processing, whatever you call it. You told me not to use that term. It's
not technically a process group.
It's not a process group.
We're not therapists.
No. But I just meant like experience, talking about your experiences. That's what it is.
It is processing. It's processing. I had an argument with the therapist. Like, you can't say that. I'm like, but that's what it is. What do you mean?
I'm just thinking of processes.
You find a cute synonym and call it something else, but it is what it is.
I don't know. It's it's discussing your experiences, and that's important in community and just being around people.
Wheelies are smart too.
So effing smart.
Wheelies
so
are
smart.
Fucking smart.
Like this is.
So smart.
So smart. And they don't get enough credit for it, like in their relationships or in society or different programs, like y'all are smart people who truly know things. You're just so scared to push forward and actually trust your guts and your instincts and things like that because you haven't been validated. You haven't been.
You were right all along.
You are not crazy. You're not crazy.
Nope.
All right. And then setting boundaries, which we've talked about multiple times, educating yourself on all this, doing some self-care, all the things we discuss on this podcast are going to help you through the betrayal trauma.
Hey, keep up the self-care post, by the way.
Yes, please do.
We've got some diehards that just stick with it. And
Yep.
I love seeing it, man. I love it so much.
Yep.
It's great. I love when people kind of shift that focus back to, let's take care of you. Let's take care of you.
Yep.
I understand there's time and a place for it, but sometimes it's just, you can't, but push, do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yep.
I love it. Okay. This last section here, you're not covering that?
No, that was for my extra notes. What did you want to go on? Did you have anything else to
No,
say?
that's it.
I thought you did. Did you already go through your parts?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
I'm like looking at you like, did I say something that
I thought you did, but I don't know. Maybe my brain is just not crazy. I don't know. Whatever. I was just going to kind of end it with, like our brains, I talked about this earlier, but they're wired to keep us safe. And
yes, they are.
We've been traumatized within our marriage. Some of us have. And we'll do things out of character and we won't trust. We'll search for things like we talked about. We'll become triggered. But these are normal human responses to being betrayed. We're not codependent because our brains are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's so important for y'all to understand that things that you're going through, it's very normal in these relationships, but it doesn't have to be your end game.
No.
It doesn't have to be the end.
Yeah. You've likely identified a lot of parts of yourself in this episode, and it's good news. It's bad news. It's bad news for the fact that you've been through it. And I'm sorry that you've been through it. It's good news in that you can heal from it.
Yeah.
You can.
Absolutely.
Get with professional, start to heal.
Start to trust.
There are amazing therapists out
again.
there. Paige mentions our program as well, which is built by a professional that is aware of these things. Mm-hmm. We're aware of these things. And so I want people to know that you can get through it. It doesn't happen quickly, but it can happen. You can trust again. You can trust yourself again. You can trust other people again too. Mm-hmm. It does get better. And we're going to love you guys every step of the way through it. Like I've said before, like we're going to love you until you can love yourself, and we're going to keep on loving you.
Yep. We
will always have patience for you. We understand that no matter what choice you make, all that our job is to do is to empower you to know that choice is coming from the right place. It's coming from a place where you've considered everything that you know. Mm-hmm. And maybe that means that you're sticking around. Great. Maybe that means that it's time to go. Great. I just want to make sure that there is a proud person behind that decision, and a person that's healed, capable, and trusts their intuition again before they're making it. That's
for
all.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all we've got.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all for joining us. Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.